All right. There we go. That should do it. So, yeah. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to a release day stream of a brand new game called Mask of the Rose, which I'm going to start up right now. And you may have noticed that I have a different background for the occasion. That's actually an official creator image that the devs sent out to people. Actually, what they actually sent out was loops, and I just grabbed a still from it because that's how I roll. And I use that as my background. Although you're not going to really see it because the game's going to be over most of it. But I figured I'd at least take a moment to show it off at the beginning of the stream anyway. But anyway, enough of that. Let's start the game. Should be showing up. There it is. I also have a cup of tea. It's English breakfast tea. And a scone. I made scones specifically for this occasion. So, if you're not familiar with Fallen London, there's a nice little link down here that we can go to. Although I don't know, it's just going to link to it's a browser game, so it's just going to link to a browser page, which I'm not going to show. But you can check it out yourself by just going to www.fallenlondon.com. Hey, your timing is awesome. I was going to start at 7:30, my usual time, but I was delayed by various things, because that's what always happens with my streams. I never frickin' start on time. I'm always fashionably late. Yes, Fallen London is fun. I'm kind of in and out of it. I don't really play it regularly as much as I used to, but I've been getting more. I've been trying to get back into it over the last few days, mainly because of this game. And there's like a ton of stuff I haven't done yet. I'm kind of like I've hit the stat cap because I've been playing that game for a long time. So my character is kind of a veteran of Fallen London, but there's still a ton of stuff I haven't done. And then this is set in the universe of Fallen London. Specifically, it's a prequel to the browser game. It's set right after the fall of London. So this is kind of a look at how everything started. Yeah, if you're interested in a copy of this game, I have some keys to give away, which I'll be doing in about an hour. I'll give one of them away, and then about half an hour after that, I'll do the second one. Sound good? Yeah. That way, it'll give some people some time to actually show up. And hopefully it won't be too late for people. So, anyway, let's go. Let's get started. Your first foray into Mask of the Rose is unlikely to end as happily as you might hope. Never mind. Savor your successes. Delight in your disasters. Try again, wiser in the ways of beneath. The city is thick with secrets, but they can't hide from you. In February 1862, with no warning at all, London fell through the surface of the earth. This was meant to be a year of progress in industry. The Great Exposition, trams, a new sewer system. Instead, we find ourselves dwelling in a cave. It's October now. The fires have been put out. The bodies have been buried. But the future remains unimaginable. The time before impossibly distant. Alright, so we get to choose who we were, and that will affect the clothes that we get to start out with. So my thinking is I'm going to play this game... Ah, right, okay. Oh, that's cool. So I'm going to play this game... My plan was to play this game basically as my Fallen London character, whose name is Eliza Cromlech, and she is... Well, this is unfortunate because the background that would best fit her is this, an arcane academic. But I have to complete the game first to play as that, so maybe we won't play as her. Maybe I'll play as my secondary character, although that'd be difficult because he's a cat. You could, I mean, it's all roleplay. There's no like stats or anything for being a cat. It's just I've chosen to be that he's a cat. But let's see. Okay. In that case, I'll just get as close to Eliza as I can. Dock worker's child. My father worked the docks, unloading ships. My uncle was a sailor. We were on the right side of the law, but the same couldn't always be said for our friends. The docks are allied with the working class and with criminals. A child of the gentry. My family had an estate on the surface. My father was a magistrate. All that is unreachable now, of course. I had the bad fortune to be in London during the fall, and now there is no going back. But I do have a few connections here. The landed gentry hobnob in high society, and with constabulary. A tailor. My family kept a tailoring shop with aspirations. We dressed our customers better than we dressed ourselves. Shopkeepers have contacts with society, but their own origins are more humble. They may also have some contacts among the artistically inclined. I might do that one, actually. That sounds pretty good. Housebreaker's child. An undertaker. That sounds great. Arcane academic. Yeah, that's definitely Eliza right there. Eliza's whole deal is she is all about secrets and knowledge, and she wants to learn everything and uncover everything and just know everything there is to know, regardless of the cost to herself or to anyone else. Oh, which reminds me, I'm also wearing an appropriate shirt for this occasion. This is my correspondence shirt. The correspondence is it's basically an alien language in Fallen London, and studying it and speaking it and writing it is dangerous. It has a tendency to set one's hair on fire, among other things. And I figured, you know, I have a Fallen London shirt. I'm gonna wear it for this stream. Let's do Taylor. Let's try that. Down here, your name is whatever you say it is. Often there's no one left to remember who you used to be. Some people hold tight to the names they carried before. Some reinvent themselves completely. Okay, so I'm not gonna play as exactly my Fallen London character, but I might go in with kind of a similar mindset at least. So we have names and pronouns, titles rather, not so much pronouns as titles. Oh, that's cool. Oh, man, there's so many. It's great. Madame, Mademoiselle, Miss, Madam, Sir, my Lord, my Lady, Citizen, Comrade, Captain, Lieutenant, Doctor, Professor, Officer, Secretary, Brother, Sister, Reverend, Intendant, Monsieur, Madame. Let's go with Mademoiselle. Though my friends call me. Oh, you can randomly generate a name, which is awesome. Nice, nice, nice. I'm just gonna say papaya. Mademoiselle Papaya. That's me. That's me. Papaya to my friends, Mademoiselle to strangers. I'm a different person down here than I was above. And then we get to pick a portrait of sorts. Papaya in French? That's a good question. What is papaya in French? Hi, March. I kind of like that one. Ooh, that's cool. I like that one a lot. I'm gonna go with that one. That's B. In the Neath, a true ally means everything. When I find people to be close to, I'm open to... Ah, yes. Friendship, but no romantic emotions or physical intimacy. Friendship and physical intimacy, no romantic. Friendship and romantic, but no physical intimacy. And whatever comes my way. I'm gonna go with whatever comes my way. But it's always nice to see dating sims with arrow ace options. I'll be looking for both romantic feelings and a physical connection. Friendship and matchmaking are possible too, of course. Alright, Heart's Desire. In Fallen London, there are certain paths you can send your characters along called ambitions, and there are 4 main ones tied to the 4 main stats, which are persuasive, which is basically like charisma in D&D, watchful, which is basically like wisdom/intelligence, shadowy, which is basically like dexterity, and dangerous, which is basically strength, constitution. And my character in Fallen London had the, I believe it was the watchful one. Yeah, watchful is her main stat. And she had the watchful ambition, which was Heart's Desire. So I'm just kind of amused that that's what that shows up as there. I'm happy with this. Papaya. Makes sense. Right now, I'm meant to be helping with the census, finding out who still lives in my neighborhood. The first census results are due tomorrow. If I turn them in, I get paid. The first money to come my way in nearly 2 months. If I don't, I'm going to disappoint Grizz badly. She knew I was in trouble, so she went out of her way to find me work with her own employers. She even gave me a badge to show my affiliation. Badge of the Ministry of Accounting and Recounting. The front of the badge looks almost like a constable's badge with a lion and unicorn blazoned on it. The back of the badge has some kind of symbol I don't recognize. Hot to the touch. I keep it with the clothes I have from before the fall, and a few odd items I found more recently. Speaking of weird language... speaking of, well, not weird, but like funny little like language quirks regarding fruit. That's a segue if I ever heard one. Did you know that the word pineapple in pretty much every language other than English is ananas? Like, almost every goddamn language in the world. Except for English. Ananas, yes. And now I have a chance to put stuff on. I don't have any hats. I don't have anything for my face. So I have a badge that I just got, and a fake but vibrant corsage. The most obvious thing about this flower is that it is extremely fake. Perfect for going out of the town, boasting and gallivanting. And then coat, and then torso, I have the tailor's apron. The apron speaks to a shopkeeper's life. Helpful, cooperative, with a gift for invention and a true appreciation of craft. Sure, let's wear that. And then I can only wear one of those things. Well, let's go ahead and wear the badge. Why not? Yes. Bananas. That'll do. Ah, I thought you were up here. She glances at the badge I'm wearing. I suppose I should be glad you're thinking about the census, even if you didn't get around to leaving the house. I react to that the way I react to many things these days. I turn it into a joke. I thought I'd wait for a change in the weather. A lovely snow, perhaps? There's no sunshine down here. There are no yellow pea soup fogs. There's no rain, except occasionally a fine mist. Londoners lost half our topics of conversation when we fell. Come tomorrow evening, we need to have at least a few census forms filled out. Or I'm going to be the one explaining to Mr. Pages. And if that happens, I'm not going to help you with your employment prospects again. Grizz works for the Ministry of Accounting and Recounting. It seems to agree with her. She wears trousers to work and comes home at all hours. It's very important to her being taken seriously by these employers. The next thing I do is characteristic, too. I'm sorry. To be frank, I didn't like the look of the city today. Too many dark alleys. I'll see we have something to turn in. You still have some time tomorrow. She gives me a hard look, as though she could stuff some integrity into a person just by glaring hard enough. What do you think of the questions? They're written in the most peculiar spiked handwriting, and there are punctures in the paper in random spots. Do I have, like... I guess not. I haven't read them. I was going to review them in the morning. By the refreshing dawn light. There's no dawn here. The light tomorrow morning will be exactly the same as it is now. The only difference is the angle of the hands on the clock. Here, try the questions on me. Say you've just knocked on the door and I've come to answer it. Yes? What do you want? Good evening. On behalf of the Ministry of Accounting and Recounting, I have a few questions. Oh, how lovely. I'm so grateful these ministries are looking after us. Let's play along. This is not too hard. Go on, then. What's the first question? How many people live in this establishmentation? Is that a word? Establishmentation? My superiors are enthusiastic embellishers of the language. If you like, you can translate into questions that are more likely to be understood. Right. How many people live in this establishment? 4. The landlady, Mrs. Horatia Chapman, a young man named Archibald Reed, myself, and a 4th character, very disreputable. Let's continue to build trust. I'm not a secretive person, Grizz. If I seem disreputable, you only have to ask about it. Yes, maybe. But then you might expect me to answer any of your questions. Sometimes I'm in the mood to keep chatting, and sometimes I want to get to the point. Is anyone in this establishment enamorificated or impassionated? What does this even mean? They're asking if anyone here is in love. Just ask that. Is anyone here in love? No. You are certain you're not concealing a deep dedication to someone? My betrothal was not of my choosing, and its end was a blessed relief. I'm not carrying any feelings from that time. And there's no one else? No. At this moment, of course, Archie has to turn up. Hello! Archie is a medical student. He hadn't finished his training before the fall, but he has plenty of work now. Right after the fall, it was broken bones and cuts. Lately, there are fewer wounds and more diseases. I wondered where you were. Yeah, we can flirt later. What are you looking for? There's something that needs explaining. Oh, he's supposed to have like a... He's supposed to have an accent. I'm not going to be doing accents. I'm not confident about my ability to do it without insulting anyone. Out I went this morning to visit a patient, and what do I find pasted up on the wall? He holds up a broadsheet. There's a new decree from the Ministry of... Oh, March is playing with a toy out there. Smacking things around. There's a new decree from the Ministry of Cartography and Chirography that all maps and atlases are to be surrendered or put on the fire. It's your folk making these rules, Grizz. Go back to the French fruit. Pamplemousse! It took me forever to learn what that even meant. I learned it several times, but it just would not stay in my brain, and finally it is staying in my brain, and it's grapefruit. And that is a fantastic name. Pamplemousse. Right. I remember we talked about grapefruit before. It was something about how, grapefruit has, grapefruit doesn't mix well with certain medications. And so, I forget what kinds of medications, but yeah, it's not a good combo, apparently, for some reason. Which is unfortunate if you do like grapefruit. Sorry, I'm eating my scone. Anyway, you can tell us we're trustworthy. I'm even working for the Ministry. You have yet to actually do anything for the Ministry. I have the badge and I've been trained. Will you be asking your Mr. Pages about these maps? The Ministry of Chirography and Cartography is new. I don't think that existed yesterday. Very well, I'll see what I can find out about this, but it might take some time. Papaya, please do collect at least a few census forms by tomorrow from whatever Londoners you were able to find. At the end of the day, I'll find you and we can take them to Mr. Pages together. New goal, deliver a filled census form to Pages. She gives me a long look before she goes. Aye, well, next time I'll not come in without knocking. Might be I'll cough a few times so the two of you can separate. Is that jealousy speaking, Archie? Ah, no. To feature me making up to the Lady Griselda. I'd be in fear for my life. How are you holding up? You've cheered me up a sight, I'll give you that. I don't like to think on what happens if we can't escape back to where we came from. But I've been at work on some concoctions of my own, and I do have hopes of those. Medicines to make up for what we cannot get from above. Grizz has me gathering census pages for the Ministry. Aye, Grizz told me it was some such thing. Yeah. I have heard all sorts of stories, so I doubt you will shock me. Indeed. You don't look like your heart is gladdened by true love, but I might have missed the signs. Are you engaged? Promised? I wouldn't say it's gone quite that far. You can write down that I enjoy someone's company if you want to tell your employer such a thing. What about before Judgment Day? There was a lass back home, and what did my mother do but promise me to her? Do go on. That sounds like a tale. What happened? It's not so uncommon, I think. My mother was friends with his lass's parents. They were getting on in years, and her not married, and of course the whole village knew her business. So my mother said she'd fix it up between us next time I were home, but I've not been back since. Seemed to me I ought to wait until I was finished with my studies. Might have a better look to it. The question as to her recollections he's not considered for a time. Is it bad to say I've not much thought of her since? She has very even teeth. My mother said overlapping teeth in a woman mean defiance, and gaps mean a light skirt. I chuckle. There's stranger theories I heard in the medical lecture hall. And plenty of constables who thought we'd catch the criminals that road. I'm hardly in a position to be choosy about my own occupation. I see. Is your income all from seeing patients these days? Archie answers me quite frankly. I did sell off a couple of my old atlases just today. Censored maps sell for a good price if you know the right buyer. Ferret's vermin eradication takes in more than just rats. If I met the like of you in Scotland, I might never have come to London. Oh, really? Dang. Goes quick. So you're wishing you'd met a copy of me instead of myself? I'm devastated. Oh, you take the words away from me and wrestle them to mean something else. You know well enough what I'm saying. Ooh. I keep track of everything in my journal. What conversations I've had, the plans I've made, how I'm feeling about other people. Let's see. 259 days since the fall. Season of confessions. No money, 2 census pages. Acquaintances. My witty and confiding self. Things are heating up between me and Archie. We just met. Well, clearly we haven't. We actually knew him before. Simmers pleasantly. Harjeet. We have not met Harjeet yet. But want to ask whenever I get lost, or think I might be going to get lost. Oh, interesting. Okay. So I've actually been living here in this boarding house since before the fall. Cool. Hey, Davor. Hiya, papaya, for a few minutes before you retire. Welcome. The newspapers aren't what they used to be, but someone is still printing broadsheets these days. This morning's this morning's lies open on the table. Renowned scientist pronounces recent events result of a volcanic activity, sun veiled in ash. Bullshit. Oh, cool. This game is about, I don't know if you have heard of the game Fallen London or the games Sunless Sea and Sunless Skies. They are basically set in a version of an alternate universe version of Victorian London, where London has been pulled underground. You have? Okay, well, yeah. This is by the same. It's in the same universe. This is basically a prequel to Fallen London. It's about the initial days immediately following the fall of London, and like kind of how people are adjusting or not adjusting to life as it is now. It's a visual novel / dating sim, and we're not very far into it, so I don't know how things are going to play out. But so far, we are a census taker working for one of the masters of the bazaar. That's the Mr. Pages we've heard referred to, and we have yet to actually take any censuses. Recall the past. I'm always reliving London's last night on the surface. I try to put it out of my head, but it's still there. The dimming of the sun at 3 in the afternoon, the sky turning the color of rust. The horrible bang and the cloud of dust from the direction of Westminster, the tolling of the bells. The horseman who rode down the street, liveried in the garb of the palace, shouting, "In Her Majesty's name, go indoors!" And then the sky was full of bats. More bats than I thought could exist in the world. Wheeling, shrieking, defecating. People went indoors then if they'd ignored the criers. Those that had no house crowded into the churches and under the bridges. Even now I don't understand how Her Majesty knew to send criers. The palace has been shuttered since that day. The royal family do not emerge. Surely if they had known this was coming, they would have departed London. It was only the city that fell. The rest of England, we assume, remains above. I reckon it's a tornado. I've heard of some out similar in the Welsh Hills back to 1760. They light in the sky and a noise like a thunderclap. That's no tornado, love. It's a plague of Egypt. I've seen tornadoes. They come and then they move right on again, and they aren't made of bats. They say the tornado scattered livestock every which way. Sheep on rooftops and that. Then the ground shook again. I believe we can blame Mr. Basil Gett's excavations, digging about under London, causing a seismic disturbance. And what did he find down there but a cave of 3 million bats? Is that what you reckon? There are stranger things beneath London. That was the beginning of it, but we were down there for hours and hours. The sky darkened and it didn't return to normal. Once, around midnight, Grizz went upstairs and opened the door to the street, but she came right back down again. She said the cobbles were galloping about. It wasn't safe to walk outside. After that first bit, the memories collide and get confused. I have trouble keeping track of which came first and which came later, and whether I'm imagining something. I spent a lot of days like this, thinking back, trying to piece together the bits of the puzzle. As if I could realize something that would make sense of it all. Sorry, I'm trying not to chew into my microphone. Well, we, don't really have anything else to put on, so let's go outside. Hey, look at this. Map of London. Boarding house, Thrall Street. What, March? What are you yelling about? Blow. It's worth it to be mindful of how others will perceive me. What role I play and what I can and cannot say is constrained by my clothes. This was true before the fall, but it's even truer now. What? Oh, buddy. March, come here. You want to come sit on my lap? No? You just want to sit on the floor? Okay. Names, identities, and relationships have all become so unsteady and reliable. Harjeet admires duty, but does not always care for the ministry. It's hard to say what impression the badge makes on him. I don't really have anything else, so let's just keep what I have. Yeah, it's a little bit it's kind of a parallel to how things work in Fallen London, where you can put on different pieces of equipment that will alter your stats. And they can make certain tasks or challenges easier or harder based on what your stats are like. So this is kind of like that, I think. But probably it seems to be like either a more simplified version or just a more like hidden version. Like, because I don't see any like numbers or anything, so it's all just very narrative, kind of couched in narrative, which is cool. Yeah, I've played Sunless Sea, I have not played Sunless Skies. I do have it. I'm sure I'll get around to it eventually. I've been kind of wanting to do a Sunless Sea stream for a while. There's a lot to do in that game, but it was like really their first foray into like an actual published game outside of Fallen London, so it's a little bit rough. And they definitely refined their process and stuff in later games. So, I'll be interested to see how Sunless Skies measures up when I get around to playing that. The streets outside Mrs. Chapman's are not easy. Thanks to my family history, I do know where to find the nearest market that specializes in clothing. Hogs Lane Market. Like the disruption of Hogs Lane, but I'd keep my pet pig on a leash all the same. But whenever I need to find more of them, it's Harji who helps me. I have something for you if you want it. He produces a nearly new Admiral's hat in perfectly good condition. I found it near the docks. No sign of the owner, and I can't wear it myself. I thought someone at Mrs. Chapman's might get use out of it. Perhaps Lady Griselda. Ooh, thank you. Trimmed with gold braid. It makes the person look like a respectable representative of the Navy. Wearing it gives me a commanding, if slightly curmudgeonly, presence. Clothes make an impression on other people when I wear them. They make an impression on me, too. Sometimes I'm inspired to say things I wouldn't otherwise. I have the feeling this particular hat will make me a bit gruff and commanding. I will put it on. No. Crumb. There's always a bit of extra drama when I have this on. I will be dramatically ungrateful. And what am I supposed to do with this moth-eaten old thing? Probably crawling with lice and God knows what else. It seemed like it would suit you. Sorry, it was a joke. I'm sorry for the interruption, but I've been sent to ask a few questions of the citizens of London, or those who survived at any rate. I'm not sure we're what the masters have in mind. Nonetheless, it would be a help. I see. The hat is like authority in Disco. Oh no! I haven't played Disco Elysium, but it's definitely on my list of games I really want to play. London was determined to collect everyone's name even before the fall. Yeah, I've been holding off on buying it because of the whole kerfuffle regarding the studio and all the nonsense that happened there, but I recently watched this really long and really involved and informative video about that kind of shed some light on that whole nonsense. And I was still kind of conflicted. Basically, I watched that video in the hopes that I would learn something that would make me decide one way or the other to buy the game. And the video didn't really help me make up my mind, but some people's response to the video, including one of the devs, who still works at the company, also shed some additional light. And I think I do actually, I think I do actually want to buy the game. Because from what I've heard, despite all the shenanigans, Zaum is a really great place to work, and they treat their employees very well. So I feel okay with my money going towards that. If the people who work there are happy there, then I think I'm okay with giving them my money. So yeah, I think that's the decision I've come to, and I will pick up the game eventually. Anyway, back to this game. Would your answers be the same now as they were then? Not exactly. What do you wish to know? No, it's okay. It's yeah, I mean, it's a very complicated issue. The thing that yeah, like the thing is that like some of the devs were the public perception is that the devs basically had their intellectual property yanked out from underneath them, and yet the company continued to like profit off of the game. But what the video shows is that the devs were, like, specifically like the guy who came up with the whole Disco Elysium idea in the first place, was basically a toxic coworker, and he was not like a good person to work with, and he was let go from the company. I think they didn't actually say that it was because of that. It was something else. I don't know. Like it's like I said, it's very complicated. But I don't know. And then there's the whole thing about like, yeah, like the CEO of the company like did some weird financial shenanigans to like that weren't entirely legal or something. I'm not the best. I'm definitely not the best person to talk about it. But if you're in the mood for like a long, deep dive into the circumstances around that, look up the I believe it's People Make Games is the name of the YouTube channel, and it's like a 2-hour video about all of that. So if you're interested, it's out there. So, what do you wish to know? I will ask using the exact wording. How many people live in your establishmentation? Harjeet lets out a surprised laugh. Well, at one time I shared my lodgings. That was prior to the fall, but my former companion is missing. Are you enamorificated or impassionated? Harjeet lets out a startled laugh. In love? This is not a matter I would explain to most people. You and I have known one another for some time, however. I think you would hear me out kindly, but if you would rather not carry my secrets... I believe I know what is expected in these situations. Even before the fall, I would not have married. My companion was not a lady. He was an officer who came to the Punjab. We became acquainted, and then more than acquainted. I thought he and I would remain together throughout our lives. I followed him here, away from my own country and everything I knew, to the home of my former enemies. He promised me that it was worth the sacrifice. He said we would never be separated. You will observe that he isn't here. Aw. The gesture is discreet, but does not go unnoticed. I have been looking for him since the night of the fall. I walked on streets that were tearing themselves stone from stone, looking for him. Perhaps you'll still find him. It becomes more unlikely. There's a short silence. There are so many things in my life that I share with no one. Things that are not secret or even private, but that are beyond companionship. The memory of my home, my faith, the intricate politics of the court in Lahore, which I learned in... Wait, Lahore. Lahore? I actually don't know how to pronounce that name, I'm sorry. Someone correct me. Which I learned... Yeah. Damn you, scone. Which I learned in childhood and cannot forget. Now I'm adding to the... Alright, maybe eating a scone on stream was a bad idea. Noted for the future. Now I'm adding to those all the empty buildings that I alone see. It is Lahore, okay. So I was right the first time. Thank you. Do you have any such things of your own? In which communication entirely fails? I tell him about growing up in a shop, always half underfoot. Hey, Sunganif. About the peculiar traditions of our own trade, never quite like even the shop next door. About our favorite customers, and our least favorite. England is not always kind even to its own, it seems. If you've seen other cities, what do you think of ours? It has been taken by surprise, which serves it right. No, you deserve a better answer. I do not like the city London was. I do not like the city London will become. In time, she'll remember her confidence and try to rule again, unless Lady Griselda and her type fail. But the cracked and lost parts of London now, this is a place to love. People have no choice but to meet as equals now and then. I'm honored you told me that. You're welcome. I should go, but you know where to find me. I'm always here. I just have time for one more errand today before supper. The apron makes it look like I should be behind a counter. The hat belongs to someone much wealthier and more accustomed to command. With the combination of badge and apron, I look as though I'm distributing food on behalf of the ministry. What if I take off? Sure. Second breakfast. Nice. My tea is going cold. That's okay though. I don't mind. Well, let's continue to take the census, actually. Let's do all the census stuff. Horatio doesn't attend much to what I wear. An indifference no doubt born of seeing us in all states. In that case, I will just wear what I'm wearing. What is for second breakfast? What you eatin'? I find Horatia in the basement, taking inventory of our supplies. The night London fell, all Horatia's lodgers gathered in the cellar. Horatia led the hymns while we waited for dawn. Around 3 in the afternoon, we admitted to ourselves that there wasn't going to be a dawn, today or any other day. Today or any other day. Ah, I trust that the cold isn't getting to you too much. Since the fall, we have all taken to greeting one another as invalids on the verge of death. The badge makes clear that I'm here for business, not for conversation. The Ministry of Accounting and Recounting have asked me to work on the census. I see. Did you have many suitors when you were younger? The butcher at the corner asked me a few times to be his wife. I couldn't say I was tempted. He had 7 children from his marriage before. I believe he was more attracted to the extra rooms in my house than to me. Sadly, you're all out of God. Vegan bratwurst. Garlic bread and a Greek salad. Woo! Yum! Love me some garlic bread. Oh, March. He's so flat. Sprawl on his side. Oh, buddy. There's something I need for dinner if you'd be willing to go. Heck yeah. Why not? She rummages in the corner and returns with an assemblage of empty jars, which she piles into a bag for me. Assemblage. Take them to the market and get them filled, as many as you can. Oil first, then solids, whatever they've got. Don't let them sell you more than 1 jar of cricket flour. We can use it, but we don't go through much. As for the purple mushrooms, make sure they're dead. Don't accept the live ones. How will I know? If it jumps out of the jar, it's not dead. It's true. Those are the bite-sized ones. The trip takes a long time. Half the stalls are already empty. Half of the remaining stalls are not offering anything we'd want. But I finish Horatia's commission at the end. What is that? Looks like that a Star Wars. That mask right there. It occurred to me you might want the route to the church. Theophilus Withernwick would be good for the census, I'm sure. Follow Thrall Street to the place that looks like a dead end. Stand still and sing 2 verses of Pop Goes the Weasel. Then walk straight ahead and you'll find the street keeps going. It might be that another song would do as well, but for some reason, that's the one I always use. Weird, but okay. St. Alban was the first English martyr, a point of considerable pride to the local vicar. It's the church of our parish. Proto-martyr. It isn't long until dinner is served. I'm going to wear the corsage, and I'm going to take the hat off. Grizz is waiting for me. Whatever census forms you have ready, it is time to take them to Mr. Page's. But it's time for supper. Now? I'm famished. Mr. Page's has been expecting these all day. He's eager to see what you've made of the collection. Once I've shown you how to reach the ministry, you can come back on your own and turn in others. Grizz has me gather my papers. With luck, Mr. Page's will decide to keep you on. With even more luck, he won't mind being asked about the Ministry of Chirography and Cartography. With that, she leads me outside and down a side street that is no longer named. way to the bazaar is much longer than a straight line, first left, then right, then back again and again. Like trimming an evening gown, it's going to a bother for the bother's own sake. I do not ask Grace whether the masters require us to approach this way, or whether it is her own virtuosic embellishment. Finally, we find ourselves standing in its shadow, under its walls. Look at that thing. And, you know, it has been an hour since I started streaming, so I think now will be a good time to do my first giveaway. I have 2 keys for this game. One of the keys comes with a little extra something, and the other key is just the key on its own. So let's see. Okay. Giveaway hype! Alright, so let's say... Well, there's only 3 of you, but that's okay. That's fine. Someone will get it. So... You know what? If that's... I'm not even gonna do that. I was gonna do, like, a keyword giveaway, but I think I'm just gonna say, like... Let's just say anyone. Anyone anyone is here. So we'll just roll it. Great Star! Hooray! Rigged? No, it is not rigged. So yeah, I will message you privately, and I will send you the keys to the things. Nightbot's part of the robot uprising. It might be, I don't know. Excellent. Alright. Great. Well, that was quick. Yep, I do got your info. So in another half an hour, I will do the other giveaway. So stick around if you still want a copy of this game. Stick around and you might win the other one. Alright, yeah, thanks for coming by, Davor. Always a pleasure. Before us is a low door that once, I think, belonged to a solicitor's office. Grizz takes out a key made of something other than metal and unlocks that door. Scone. Mind the pile of papers. I've already sorted them 3 times. Mr. Pages is very particular about the ordering of documents. Excuse me. Now, where has he gone? Usually he's here by this time of day. Ah, there you are, sir. We were just coming to bring you the census documents. A first installment of many, I'm sure. That's Mr. Pages. Imposing fella, isn't he? There is a tone in her voice, somewhere between fondness and a nanny guiding an untutored child. I watch her curiously. She doesn't meet my eye. Does she have feelings towards it? Affection? Regard for a very strange and demanding pet? Or is it something more heartfelt? Mr. Pages, may I present Papaya? Papaya, this is Mr. Pages. The whole Ministry of Accounting and Recounting is under Mr. Pages' direction. Thank you very much for offering me employment. The opportunities in London aren't what they used to be. Grizz assures us that they are improvicated. It is highly gratificatory that the populace of London appreciates their move. With the very powerful, one must align oneself carefully. What have you brought us? So Mr. Pages is one of the masters of the bazaar, who are... Well, what exactly they are is a mystery and also kind of a spoiler, so I won't say exactly. But they are basically the entities that that engineered the fall of London. I don't remember exactly how many of them there are, but they all have names like Mr. This and Mr. That. There's how many? Let's see. How many can I remember? There's Mr. Wines, Mr. Vales, Mr. Hearts, Mr. Irons, several others, and they all basically look like this. Just very tall, imposing figures in hooded cloaks. There's also a secret master, who is known by Mr. Eaton. And there's a whole big plot thread involving Mr. Eaton in Fall in London, and it's very, very, very dangerous and a very, very bad idea. So naturally, I'm doing it. I'm trying to do it anyway. It goes very slowly, and it's not advised for very good reasons. But I don't think that is part of this game. That's just a side thing that's part of Fall in London. And yeah. Anyway, you know what? Here you go. Have everything. It considers my contribution. Ah, most intertrigant. It gives me a shiny penny for my trouble. Just one? It's newly minted and has a portrait on the back of someone who is certainly not the queen. Dumb ways to die, exactly. And hey, death in Fall in London is not permanent, so... I mean, I've already definitely died many times. Hell, like, part of the whole quest of seeking Mr. Eaton's name, you have to die 7 times, like, in a row, basically. And there's just so many other things that can go wrong. The face on the back of the coin stares at me until the hair prickles on my neck. Oh, march left. It reminds me of a debt owed, and I don't want to remember. My breath hitches and slows and resumes. Oh, I know what that is, I think. That's another Fall in London reference, which is, again, that's like... I'm not going to go into that. That's a whole other thing. Provide pages with 7 census forms. Alright. It turns over a page. Pages takes my penny payment from a jar, bringing my stash to 2. There are other coins in there, and a few things that aren't even coins. Buttons, pearls, probably false, a horse head carved from ivory or bone. We are grateful for your assistance. There are never too many papers. It turns over a page. Mr. Pages takes the census page eagerly and spends some time scanning it. Whatever it finds, it considers impressive enough to offer us 2 pennies. But it is, I think, disappointed all the same. There's something it is looking for that it cannot find. It turns over a page. Mr. Page pays 2 pages. Then it puts the census page in a stack of others, much like it. It weighs the stack down with a paperweight. If I look too hard at the paperweight, my eyes sting. The business of the census is done for now. Perhaps I've earned a question. Sure. Meow. What are you staring at? Yes? Wait, come on. Come on up. Hey, there he is. You can't have my scone. That is not for kitties. Are you just gonna sit on the arm of my chair? Like a weird little gargoyle? No. Hey, Karth. Why aren't we allowed to have maps and atlases anymore? We need them more than ever. London isn't arranged where it used to be. Ooh. I think I pissed him off. I believe the Ministry intends to resurvey the territory. In the meantime, it wouldn't do, you know, to have people using fallacious maps. The territory of the Neath is anti-disposificated towards lying still. Uh-huh. That is enough of my official duties for the moment. Grizz accompanies me out again when it is time to go. She makes a couple of remarks about how useful this will be, though she stops short of asking whether I'm in debt to Horatia. I haven't forgotten, though. Alrighty. Pay the woman. Whoop. Bye, March. March thinks it's time for his food. It is not time for his food. As we make our way back to Horatio's, Grizz asks me what I think of Mr. Page's. She tries to make it sound like an idly curious question. I tell her that I found him charming and pleasant. She pauses, surprised, but takes the lie at face value. Before we go back inside the house, she reminds me. We have many more people in the neighborhood to survey for the census. You know how it's done now, so you can collect them and take them to Mr. Page's yourself. I have other duties, and I may not always be there, but Page's is... Well, I'm certain you won't be harmed if you visit the ministry on your own. Well, sure, but that's Mr. Page's whole thing, is he makes up words. Steeply disinclined. Sure, it would have worked better, but it wouldn't have sounded as fun. I got the impression that you have an affection for Mr. Page's. Mr. Page's is a puzzle. Sometimes he can be protective. Other times I think he would let me walk into the sea if I chose. Not because he dislikes me, but because he has no fear for me. He trusts me to judge for myself. Undercon Grizz, he calls me, but I'm not sure I'd call it love. If it should say anything about its feelings, please tell me. Hell yeah. Totally gonna set those two up. Yes, exactly. If you have a word for something, why not use it? If you don't have a word for something, why not make one up? Archie finds me upstairs after dinner. I cannot stop thinking on the Ministry of Cartography. There's something not right there. If you'd let me show you what I'm thinking of. Yes, please. Please be my guest. You'll see what I have in mind in a moment. It's a way of sorting out my thoughts. Yeah, absolutely. That's what the German language excels at. When I started, it was to think through a treatment. But it's good for all sorts. Stories, schemes, things that might be true or things that don't have to be. While he's talking, he's getting out some bits of paper, written over in his own handwriting. Ah, this is the story crafting mechanic. Welcome to story crafting. From time to time, you'll be making stories about things you discover in the Neath. Yeah. there's other languages that do that. I think Finnish is another one that you can just kind of like make up words by make up new words by stringing words together, and there's like very specific rules for it too. Like you can't just like throw any old words together, but you can like there's very specific like constructions that you can make that are grammatical by the rules of the language. I mean, English works that way too. But English isn't quite so suited to just making up entirely new words like the way German does it. Basically no rules. You think so. I'm sure there are rules. But they might be very well hidden, or they might be just like nobody thinks about them. Sometimes other people will ask you to bring them a story. They might want a true account, or they might want fiction. Either way, you'll come here to create the story they want. Oh, for conjoining words, right. Okay. This is a slot. Slots contain the elements of your story. This is a who slot, meaning it can contain a character featured in the story. Okay. These are all the character tokens you can currently put in the slot. As you meet more characters in the game, you'll gain more options. Select one of the tokens to fill the slot and continue. This is excellent. You can select the slot again to choose someone else if you'd like. Otherwise, let's continue. This is a story about Harjeet. Characters in the stories you craft here can be driven by motives, and these motives spur them to act. Tokens for actions and motives are represented by fragments of text rather than pictures. Assign a token to both the motive and action slots before you continue. Okay, so he did this because of this. And this is just stuff we're making up. This doesn't necessarily have to be true, any of it. We can just make shit up about people. Also, we're writing fanfic, basically. Or, no, in universe, we're writing friend fiction. We're doing the Tina Belcher thing. We're writing friend fiction. Let's see. He had a secret affair. Hoped for love. Harjeet, a policeman driven by a powerful lust, carried on a discreet and private affair with a lover. Well done, delicious friend. Let's continue. Delicious friend is a term that Fallen London uses a lot, mainly to refer to the player. That was actually going to be one of my keywords for the giveaway. 50 fails of Mr. Pages. You know, I bet someone has written that. I bet that story exists. Or if they haven't, they will soon. Not every story is a single-hander, of course. Commonly, a second character will feature as a friend, an enemy, or a victim. Select this new slot to continue. The second person in your story needs to be different from the first. Notice that the token for the character you first chose is marked with a cross. If you assign that token to this slot, it'll vacate the first character slot. You can try that now, but continue when both slots are filled. Mr. Pages. Ooh. Sometimes two tokens can't be placed together because they don't make sense together. More often, you can mix and match based on whatever you've learned about the world. You'll discover more variations in the course of play. Carried on a discreet and private affair with his lover, Mr. Pages. Hot! Mr. Pages was afraid of Harjeet. Oh dear! Sometimes you'll be asked for a story where certain elements can't be changed. In that case, those slots will be locked. You can change everything else about the story, but not that piece. Finally, sometimes you can put an unknown into a slot. That means you think there's another possible answer, but you need to explore the world more to find out what it is. Building a story with some unknown elements gives you a hypothesis you can ask other characters about. Interesting, okay. Fill this final slot to continue. took unknown actions and reacted by doing something we have yet to identify. You formed a theory to ask people about. When you get a message about a story completed, that lets you know what kind of story you built. You can now go and ask other characters about your idea. Okay, but I don't want to do that. Whenever you're done working on a story, finished or not, you can leave the story crafting board and go and tell other characters about your idea. You see how I'm coming at it. I'm trying to work out what Mr. Page is about. What Mr. Pages is about with the Ministry. It's no use asking Grizz. You've seen that. Okay. So this is the story we actually want to work on. Develop Archie's theory of what Mr. Pages is up to. Mr. Pages established a Ministry rule forbidding mapping in the Neath, and then something happened, presumably, but what? Okay, so just, I guess... Mr. Pages had purposes both unknown and unknowable and established a Ministry rule forbidding mapping in the Neath. Typical Londoner reacted somehow. Determined to preserve London. Yeah. Typical Londoner rebelled against these commands whenever it was safe to do so, feeling that Mr. Pages did not mean the city well. It seemed best to create a bit of difficulty for these newcomers who acted as lords and ministers without any right. That sounds about right. You may think Mr. Pages has some other notion of why it's acting so, but it doesn't comfort me much not knowing what that is. If you don't mind giving Mr. Pages all manner of stories about the people that live below, then you can go on with it. But if you'd rather another way to making your bread, I have a friend below that can take what we learn and put it about in the papers. I told them I knew someone that might be able to bring back a few secrets of the Ministry. If you make up the questions you want to ask, you can investigate with anyone who might answer. Yeah. No more right than anyone else, right? Earn your pennies helping the citizens rather than those creatures in their blankets. Okay. So he basically wants me to spy on the masters of the bazaar for him. I'm going to think about it. I nod, but I don't make promises. I should let you get your sleep. You should feel free to come and talk with me anytime. My own room's not big enough to turn about in, of course. But you can find me in the parlor. Heck yeah. I don't know, it might be entertaining to try to fit in yours. You say that, we might as well play act being eels in a jar. When I came here, Horatia had little more than a cupboard free for new lodgers. But you've got more or less your own palace. Oh yeah, sexy eels in a jar. Time to finish my tea and scone. Okay. Right. 5 pennies to Horatia. We have that. We could do that now. I think Archie has feelings for me. I made the acquaintance of Mr. Pages. It is very tall. Theo. Oh, right. Theophilus Withernwick. Horatia mentioned that name. Cool. Ooh, okay. We got more actions to add to our story crafting boards. Neat. Well, you should go make some tea then. It's always a good time for tea. Well, usually. Another morning, another newspaper. Archie bought one, and the headlines read, Ministry of Accounting and Recounting calls on citizens to cooperate in ongoing census. Offer Archie stories about the masters that might shock the ordinary Londoner. Mr. Pages knew the floor of the Neath shifted and changed. It took some action, but I'm unsure what. I'll need to ask someone about this. The typical Londoner posed no challenges and asked no questions. Aw. Well, fine. St. Albans proto-martyr. Let's actually... Let's pay Horatia. Horatia won't mind me in this. I find Horatia in the basement taking inventory of our supplies. I'm indebted to Horatia. Since the fall, I haven't always had the funds to pay for my room and board. She provided for me anyway. If there's anything to eat, I'm always welcome to join the other lodgers. She's never said a word in front of the other guests. Hello. I was remembering us all together the night of the fall, telling each other it was some sort of engineering accident that would be put right. Little chance of that now. Harjeet says the Besham's neighbors vanished overnight. They've been talking of making a run for it, just striking out north and seeing what they found. Not enough to eat around here, it seems. I believe I owe you something, as a matter of fact. I pass her the coins in a jingling handful. There is a moment's fellow feeling. Horatia and I are thinking alike. She scoops the money into the pocket of her skirt. Yay! I mean, it'll probably be another 5, right? I know that can't cover all of my previous debts. It would be as much again. I will have to do a few more odd jobs first. I'm glad to have this. There's a woman who comes to the door just about every morning. Too many children and not enough food. Sometimes I have a penny or some old stew for her. And this morning, I sat by the fire and didn't go to answer it. After a time, she stopped knocking and just stood sobbing on the doorstep. Oh. This sounds like a gloomy story. It's a common one. You don't have any secret business besides running the household, do you? The house has been my business a long time now. My father left it to me. He bought it so I'd have a good place to live. He didn't want to leave it up to whether I'd find a husband. The kitchen needs cleaning out. I'll be off. I mean, we should definitely be friends. I grin. There's time to run another errand before supper. There's also time for another giveaway! It's been about half an hour since the last one, so let's do another one. I have another key for some lucky person. Let's see. Okay, let's reset eligibility. There we go. Okay, well, let's see. Nightbot, you're not eligible. Oh, whoops. Let's say... Alright, well, there's only like one other person in chat who is coming up on the eligibility thing right now for some reason, which is weird. Oh, there we go. If you don't like it, move to Russia. I mean, not a bad band name. I guess... yeah, I mean... Alright, well, I mean... So there's only like 2 people who could who've been in chat, honestly. But you know what? Fine, let's do that. We'll get 2 people. 50-50 chance to win. If you are in chat and you have not... Let's see. Yeah, so the most it'll let me do is users active within the past 15 minutes are eligible to win. No, Gritstar already won one. I'm not gonna give her 2 keys. Screw it. Let's just roll it. Sungadif. You get it anyway. Whether you like it or not. Alright. Cool. So I will message you later. And, oh, these are, by the way, I forgot to mention, these are Steam keys. So yes. Copy of game on Steam. Oh, perfect. Well, now you don't have to. Aren't you lucky? Sweet. Yay. Yeah, there's I believe there's... Is there DLC for this game? There's DLC for, like, for Kickstarter backers. I don't know if you can buy the DLC. Maybe you can. Let me see. I'm checking this out real quick. Oh yeah, there's a soundtrack, of course. That's a thing. I don't know. Well, I'm sure there's going to be more DLC later. Yeah, no problem. It's not often that I get to do this, and usually I don't. I mean, I have such a relatively small. I keep wanting to say user base, but that's not the right word. Small audience. So it kind of makes it hard to do giveaways when it's like, I mean, if there's only one person in chat, then what's the point? But community, there you go. Thank you. Yes, that is a better word. But I mean, yeah, like it's still good. I'm glad that I can occasionally provide some goodies to the people who show up. It's fun. So, anyway, let's do another thing. What should we do? Let's go to this church. That sounds interesting. Take the census with Theophilus. I consider what impression this will make on Theophilus. I'm gonna change. Let's wear that. Let's leave the hat off, I'm thinking. The badge will eliminate any expectation of a social visit at any rate. What will the hat do? I don't have any face items, unfortunately. Otherwise, I would. No face for me. Hi. How you doing? Oh, Twitch. Rubbing on things. St. Albans Proto-Martyr. This is the closest church to Horatius. Hello. He looks me over and he does not see a parishioner. I see the masters are meddling with the affairs of the church. I suppose it was inevitable that they would turn their attention this way in time. I am helpful and obedient. It is an honor to make your acquaintance. My name is Papaya. Theophilus Withernwick. It is a Yorkshire name. Yeah, so you should have like a northern accent. If I could do proper British accents. I'm sorry for the interruption, but I've been sent to ask a few questions of the citizens of London, or those who survived at any rate. I'm not sure what the masters have in mind. Nonetheless, it would be a help. I can tell that I chose the wrong moment. Theophilus looks out of sorts. A decree went out from Caesar Augustus that all the world should be taxed. What's that? I'm wondering about the purpose of this census and whose aims it is meant to serve. I live in Mrs. Chapman's boarding house. That at least offers some companionship. I see. Do you live alone? That seems like a random, like, out of nowhere thing to say, but okay. Theophilus speaks quite openly. I live alone in the rooms provided for the vicar of this parish. There is a woman who comes twice a week to clean, or there was. Her visits have been more erratic of late. She stole several spoons and a chafing dish from me. And my second best chasuble. Who knows what she thought to do with it? I don't know that word. When I did not turn her off for dishonesty, she lost all respect for me. In retrospect, it was an error. I thought to show mercy. Now I sleep on damp sheets. I'm sorry for asking something personal, but it's not idle curiosity. Are you married? I was married. The lady was 2 or 3 years older than myself, a very sensible and capable woman. Her name was Anne. Anne Withernwick is no longer with you? It is a sad but not unusual tale. Why would I bully him? Wow. I don't want to be a jerk to him. And I thought you were getting to trust me. We are commanded to be wise as serpents. I'll keep my own counsel, thank you. Yeah. Something has landed on the roof. It sees us. Eep! Bat. That's a big bat. Santa! It's larger than any bat I've seen. Larger than an eagle, come to that. A gargoyle? An imp? A dragon. It's landed there a few times before, especially when the choir is practicing. Possibly it likes music. Just as well the opera has been suspended in that case. It might have carried off half of society by now. The thing up there is gone. The Tenterground synagogue's in better condition than our little church. I've wondered whether that signifies the direction of divine approval. Yay! Synagogue! An old synagogue, and one that has weathered the fall very well. Meow. What?
You're so loud.
What? You have so many things to say tonight. What do you want? Such a talkative kitty. What happened to the roof? Interrupting cat. Ah, that. We must assume the fabric of the building sustained significant damage in the fall. The funny thing is, it held up for weeks, but shortly after Pentecost it all came down. I choose not to construe this as an intervention of the Holy Spirit. The weather is more forgiving than it used to be. And no risk of the altar cloths being sun damaged either. But I wouldn't mind being able to keep out the bats. It was good of you to stop in. Lord, see you safely home again. Aw, thanks, buddy. By now, Horatia will be wondering where I am. Meow. What? Come on up. Hop. There's a good boy. Aisha has the zoomies. Oh no! What? Okay. Now you want to be under my desk. Fine. We'll just do this again. Eventually I will actually acquire better, not necessarily better clothes, but more clothing options. Archie is already at the table when I arrive. When he sees me come in, he gives a guilty start and scoops some of his stew back into the tureen. Took more than I'd right to, but I've not eaten any yet. Apologies. Don't worry. I was lost in my thoughts. Forgot. There was a lass who asked me to come around and look at her brother. A Jewish family. They usually go to their own doctor, but he is out of service, or ran away, or something of that ilk. Their old synagogue was destroyed in the fall, so they moved to the Tenterground synagogue. Rachel and David Landau. David has a stomach complaint. Chronic. Perhaps they have trouble cooking anything palatable. It isn't easy these days with what we have. The sister's a beauty. She wouldn't leave the room while I saw to her brother. Will the brother live? Oh, aye. For a bit I thought it might be serious. But what he needs is his stomach settled. Just a little ginger ale. I chew diligently. The first few days weren't bad. People had food in their pantries still. Old loaves of bread, leftover joints, roots and jams. But nothing new was coming into the markets. No new fish, no vegetables from the farms. We finished eating. I wanted to go, deliver more census pages to Mr. Pages. But maybe I can't do that until I have more. Oh, I guess what I should have done was just go to the ministry, actually. That would have been the thing to do. That's fine. So yeah, when do I... Well, I guess what I've been doing, I've mostly been just, like, focusing on the census, but I think if I wanted to, I could focus more specifically on the stories I've been crafting. Another morning, another newspaper. The headlines today read, Masters of the Bazaar prohibit burning of more than 6 candles at once. Candle shortage ongoing. That's related to Mr. Eaton, I believe. 7 candles. The number 7 is very closely tied to Mr. Eaton in various ways. And to other things as well, not just Mr. Eaton. Okay. Alright, nice. Perhaps I will put you to sleep. Okay. Well, I can go and deliver the census page. Maybe... Let's see. Right, yeah, okay. So discuss theories. That's where the stories are. I would like to visit the market, but I kind of want to wait until I have some more money first. Let's go to the synagogue. Let's meet the Landaus. Because, yay, Jewish people! I consider what a Landau would make of my current garb. And I'm just gonna do this thing. The usual badge. We've never met before, but I recognize these people anyway from Archie's description. They have to be the Landaus, the brother and sister pair. He's been treating David's stomach pains. There they are. Wait here, Rachel, or you can stand a bit to the side if you want, wherever you're comfortable. I'll speak to this person. It won't take long. Shouldn't, anyway. Good morning? I'm Papaya. I have the advantage, I'm afraid. I know of you through a friend of mine, the young doctor Archibald Reed. He and I reside at the same lodging house. David is silent. Did Dr. Reed send you to us with some sort of message? I suppose I shouldn't call him doctor, as he didn't qualify. He knows we're here, but I don't know what the message would be. We paid his fees. No, I'm here on my own business, but he told me you might be here. What can we do for you? The Ministry of Accounting and Recounting have asked me to work on the census. I see. I'll answer your questions, Papaya, if you answer mine. Call it character research. Are you having peculiar dreams down here? Probably. Yes, from time to time. of a land of thick green jungle and an orange sun high above, of colors you don't see in waking life? Yes, sometimes. People miss sunlight and foliage, so they dream of that. It's like being hungry and dreaming of cakes. Do you see a bird with 7 heads? No. Go ahead with your questions, Papaya. She's talking about parabola, which is a realm of dreams in Fallen London that is accessible through mirrors if you know how to get there. And yeah, sometimes people just dream of parabola. There's also... Oh yeah, so there's another thing. There's a thing in Fallen London also called Prisoner's Honey, which basically takes you to parabola if you eat it, like physically. What did you mean when you said you had a question about character research? I write novels. They are published, one chapter at a time, in the Lily of London magazine. I was in the midst of one when the fall happened. My publisher insisted that I continue the story, despite all. Rachel, are you certain you want to share so much? Does it matter? Surely those precautions are behind us. What are you writing about? If you take the Lily of London, Papaya, you may have the pleasure of reading my next chapter yourself. Though I confess I'm at a standstill as to what it will contain. My heroine was meant to set off for Paris, and there to be reunited with her lost beloved. But as the fall has transpired, in fiction as well as in fact, I must resign myself that the courtship is ruined. What inspired that choice of occupation? It was Yom Kippur, many years ago. Our family gathered to break the fast, my Landau cousins at one side of the table, my mother on the other. The little Landaus, so devout, scandalizing my mother with, she would say, their low manners. Hey, hello, Ankvios. Ankvios says hello, March. March just stares. He was being very talkative earlier, but now he has nothing to say. My mother, in turn, scandalized the Landaus by seeming so almost English with her lax views on kashrut, each side unaware how horribly it was affronting the sensibilities of the other. In such a moment, you either retire to your room to compose a savage Romana clef, or you throw open the window, lean out, and scream. Those are the only possibilities. Rachel does herself an injustice. She writes with real sympathy. You haven't always described it that way. I simply wish you would draw less extensively from life. Well, we're already talking. Rachel, how about you, tell me more about yourself? Her brother seems like the overprotective type. I don't think I'll flirt with her right in front of him. Who else lives in your household? Our home contains myself, my brother, and our housekeeper. It isn't a grand establishment. We had another housekeeper for many years, but she passed away, and Phoebe, our servant, had lost her place with a neighbor of ours. Do you have any romantic commitments now? He doesn't have any commitments. In fact, I would go so far as to say he is utterly without prospects. Damn, Rachel! He stays home and reads. I haven't been well. He warns me of spinsterhood, but he's headed very much in that direction himself. It isn't the same thing at all. I agree, it isn't. I have my work to support myself. But what's become of your fun since the fall? You'll have to marry if you don't mean to end your days a pauper, brother. I'll rely on you to support me in my failing years, sister. Are you married? In love? Oh, not recently. I was in love once, or so I imagined. Charlotte Carrington. She and David had an understanding. She converted, in any case. Becoming Christian suited her social aspirations. Rachel. Yes, yes. I take leave to dislike your unworthy suitors as heartily as you dislike mine. Milton is a yellow-eyed, flash-dressed, hot-handed creature at least 2 decades too old for my sister. Rumors of devils are frequent in the city. Perhaps Milton is one of them. I hardly think he and Charlotte are comparable. Oh dear. The rules of polite society have broken somewhat in the fall, haven't they? Nothing of the sort. He's a devil, or rather, he belongs to the group using that name. Milton is an artistic inspiration. If you are not a writer yourself, Papaya, you cannot guess how much the fall has disrupted our sort of work. Characters have certain tastes, certain preferences, certain prejudices. All I need to do is imagine them in new circumstances, and their reactions write themselves. But now, we've all been at least a little bit cracked by the fall. How does anyone behave? Who can say? You always said you wrote from observation. You can still observe. Since the fall, there's no pattern in what I see. It is only home that makes sense to me, and I cannot make my whole novel about a brother and sister lighting candles at Shabbat. Why not? My publisher wouldn't tolerate it. The Lily of London wouldn't print it. The rest of the world must come into it somehow. Milton helps me sort the rest of the world. He can make sense of anything, even if... That's a word I don't know how to pronounce properly. Is it Viscountess or Viscountess? Running down the street in her peignoir. It's easy to understand a misbehaving Viscountess. Everything else is stranger. Viscount? Viscountess? Viscountess. I don't know. Let me say, Papaya, Milton smokes rose-scented cigars. He helps me. Tell me more. Goodness, really? Milton quotes poetry instead of making conversation. What does that signify? Milton carries in his breast pocket a jar of honey with a tiny spoon. Plenty of men of fashion behave that way. That's prisoner's honey. I turned my senseless curiosity on Rachel. Are you married? In love? No, I wouldn't say that. Milton is only a friend. Just as well, too. In the times before, you would never have darkened the door of such a person. This is a very confusing sentence because it keeps switching back and forth between the two people. With a ready listener, David talks about the life he had before the fall and hopes to have again. There was a steady business which presented him with challenges in which his caution and tendency to doubt were an asset. In his stories, his partners and relatives are sometimes swindled or tricked, but David himself rarely falls prey to that kind of misadventure. His arrangements appear to have been quietly successful, and I have the impression that his friends thought highly of his good sense. We're expected elsewhere. Everything is always running too slowly, and yet every day is the same. You've set loose 1 or 2 ideas, for which I certainly owe you something. She produces a card and hands it to me, and provides her address and guidance to reach it. Sweet! A well-appointed townhouse, suffused with a homely glow from its tall windows, home of the Landau siblings. There's a menorah there, but it only has 7 branches. I wonder if there's a reason for that. Goodbye, then. I do like Rachel. Let's do it. I look at Rachel with unmistakable longing. Judging by the clock, I can afford another errand today. I should probably wrap it up, but let's finish the day first. Let's see. Yes. Let's give some more census forms to Mr. Pages. I'm going to wear the hat. Just for fun. Grizz has already shown me once how to visit the ministry. Nonetheless, this time I want to make sure I visit while she is also there. So I invite myself to accompany her when she walks to work. We require more stories for the bazaar. Our current catalog is too small. Too small? Far too small. We have all the romantic accounts from the census. Too short. Too self-similar. A person was married, then widowed. A person fell in love, was rejected, and married another. Where is the screaming in such an account? They are English, Mr. Pages. When they wish to scream, they say that they were quite put out. Besides, if you want more colorful stories, there are the novels. London's novels have been disappointing. That does sound like a job for Rachel. I can assist with this. Let me make the necessary introductions. I know where to find the Landaus. A visit to Rachel Landau will produce more of what Grizz is looking for. Sweet. What else is there? Have all the things. I can take my penny without flinching under its stare. It turns over a page. The trick is not to look at the back of the penny at all. It arrives at Rachel's census. This form merits 2 pennies. There are 7 forms thus far. This should be commemorated. Grizz has justified that the agents of the ministry should appear respectable. Moreover, that black is a respectable color of clothing. I have obtained an article. It was not made with Mr. Vale's wares. I hope this will not give offense. Mr. Vale should not be given the measure of you. Black coat. Oh, lovely. Suitable for funeral processions and the attendance of graves. Wearing it makes you more conscious of grim truths, but also better able to lend comfort. It looks through the sheets of the form in its usual way. It doesn't find much interested in the account of Rachel's romantic life. It is much more intrigued by her employment. Ah, the authoress. We must hope she is proliferant. That is enough of my official duties for the moment. Why are you asking people about their romantic situation? Are you planning any related laws or regulations? I can't imagine that. You may consider the love stories remunerant, in exchange for our generosity in the matter of food and clothing. Are there any particular details that would enhance the pleasure of these tales? Yes. If you were able to convey the flavor of the hearts, and their resistance to the tooth. Metaphorically. Weird. Creepy. I render my thanks and good wishes to all parties and bow myself out. The hallways outside are hushed, except that I listen closely. There is a sound like something walking with an uneven gait. Its shoes, or perhaps its toenails, click on a polished floor. It's time to go home. I'm gonna wear my new coat. March is being a yelly boy. I suppose you've heard the news? What happened? Which news is that? The Masters have received word from the surface. The rest of the world is all still there. The remains of England, France, all the rest as it was. Only London was abstracted. There are crates and crates of mail from the world above, They're going out to London now as we speak. Ooh. I can only imagine what the price of stamps will be if we're to send letters back to the world above. Perhaps in place of the Queen's head, they will bear the silhouette of Mr. I suppose it would likely be Mr. Page's. None of the other masters seem especially concerned with epistolary pursuits. Archie, did you hear? I did at that. So it's true. I mean to get a seat on the next mail coach that goes above. I'm not sure that the mail came by coach, and it certainly did not come by train. Well, however it came, I mean to go back that road. How about you catch a ride on a giant bat? Maybe there's a carriage drawn through the upper earth by a team of giant moles. Look, Mr. Page has sent us all a gift. She takes out a package wrapped in brown paper and string and sets it down on the table. Inside are half a dozen fresh pork and apple sausages. Yum! Better than Christmas, love. Thank you, Mr. Pages, for us. I'll make them up for Sunday lunch. Yes, thank you. And Mr. Pages. I don't suppose Mr. Pages doesn't line a red pudding. It is Mr. Hartz who has been arranging the import of surface meats. But I don't think Mr. Hartz would consider a red pudding a very suitable gift. How many masters are there, then? I've only seen the census pages for a few of them. Man, this hat makes me an asshole. There's a quote out of context for you. I chewed diligently. When they got hungry, people turned inventive. All the pigeons around St. Paul's they caught and plucked. More than one society lapdog was turned to stew. Dinner reaches an end. Oh, I have enough to pay my full rent. Awesome. Cool, cool, cool. Cool, 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 cool. All right. So that, I think, will do it for this first look at Mask of the Rose. I am intrigued. For once, I know just what I'll see in the paper. Contact achieved with the surface of the Earth. Travel possible via Z route. Mail collected from above. It goes on and on like this. I spent a good part of the morning devouring the pages. There are hardly any pictures. It's too early for illustrations. Nonetheless, the paper's correspondents paint a vivid picture of the perilous travel back to the environs of Italy. Okay, there's my save. Alright, cool. Not sure when I'll get back to this, or if I will continue streaming it. But next week will be more Night of the Rose on Tuesday. And then on Wednesday, it'll be either this or I'm also thinking of doing starting Cook Serve Delicious 3. I think I might do that actually. I think Cook Serve Delicious 3 sounds like fun. I've been wanting to start that for a while, so that's probably going to be what I'm going to start on Wednesdays. And I might get back to this too at some point, or maybe I'll just play this on my own. Yeah. So again, congratulations to the people who won the giveaways. I will send you messages. I'll send you Sunken, I'll send you a message over Twitch, and Gretchstar, I'll send you one over Discord, because I have you on Discord. So, yeah, those will be Steam keys, and, who can I raid? Can I raid someone? Who do we got? What are you playing? Actually, is there anybody else playing Mask of the Rose, I wonder? Let me me do a little search. One person, and they only have like one viewer, so you know what? I'm gonna raid that person. Fahrenheit 23. So let's keep it going with more of this game. Just to see if there's any more goodness going on there. I don't know this person, so hopefully they're cool. So yeah, thank you for watching, everyone. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next week. Good night.